What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here at the distance. I got a video for you guys today. This one is going to be the prediction for Chad Dawson versus Adrian Diaconu. This match takes place on May 21st on HBO on the undercard of Jean Pascal versus Bernard Hopkins 2, the rematch. It's going to put together the two light heavyweight challengers, both former champions, two light heavyweight contenders and former champions, WBC champions, Chad Dawson and Adrian Diaconu. This matchup actually has a bit of a backstory to it. In April 2009, it was actually a great month for the light heavyweight division because there were three huge championship matchups within that division, and it seemed as if fights were being set up within that division. On April the 12th, it was Clinton Woods versus Antonio Tarver, and I believe on the undercard, I believe this was the undercard fight, it was Glenn Johnson versus Chad Dawson. I could be mistaken. Either one of them could have been the undercard fight. But I remember this card because they were pretty much trying to set up Antonio Tarver versus Chad Dawson for later on. And Chad Dawson went in, he had a very close matchup against Glenn Johnson. Some to which a few people debate to this day whether or not he won that specific matchup. And of course, Tarver went in and he defeated Woods, and that matchup was kind of set up. And people were thinking, okay, this is going to be a unification bout between Tarver and Dawson. And the mandatory for Chad Dawson's WBC belt was Adrian Diaconu. He was the mandatory to that belt, and Chad Dawson was intent on fighting Antonio Tarver for October 2008. So he goes in and he signs a contract to fight Tarver, and I believe there's a possible, I think it was a purse bid or something about Dawson not meeting the deadline to fight Diaconu in, and then he ended up vacating the belt and winning the IBF light heavyweight championship against Tarver October the 18th. I believe it was October the 18th, 2008. I could be mistaken. I believe it was in October, either October or September. I'm leaning more towards September right now, because I think the undercard to that was Vitaly Klitschko versus Sam Peter. So I'm leaning a little more towards September. It could have been October. But Diaconu went in and he lost the belt to Jean Pascal. And Chad Dawson had the string of just fighting the same fighters for 2 years. He fought Tarver in the rematch clause. Tarver does better rematches apparently. And then he fought Glenn Johnson in the rematch, which was his HBO debut, November the, I think, 5th of 2009. But all this, leads up to this match. It takes a loss for Chad Dawson to finally face Diaconu, and I'm not going to say that Chad Dawson was ducking Diaconu, because he took the fights that I guess meant more money to him, and then he gave the man that gave him a very close matchup a rematch. So I'll give that to him. And at least he's facing them now. From what I was reading back in March, there's a bit of trouble making this matchup happen. I was a little caught off guard that the matchup was happening still, but it is what it is. So, going into this matchup, Diaconu, as I could pretty much elaborate on him, Diaconu is a fighter that I kind of see as a bit unpredictable. He's one of those guys to where he can just hit you with a shot out of nowhere and just change the course of a fight. And Chad Dawson has a tendency, if he's pretty much sitting on a lead and gets bored, he'll do just about any little thing. So this is an opponent that he can't sleep on. So in this specific matchup, Diaconu might have to give rounds away to kind of lure Chad Dawson. As dumb as it sounds, because it's evident in a lot of Chad Dawson fights that he just tends to get bored in the ring. He's going in, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and he's physically and as far as his boxing ability goes, he's much better than his opponents. He's just much better from a physical standpoint, physical attributes. His physical attributes are just much better than his opponents. So he kind of sits on leads, and he gets hit with shots that he shouldn't be hit with. And in this specific matchup, something that Diaconu does very well is this is when an opponent is standing in front of him, is he throws a jab overhand right, and the overhand right shot is going to be the shot that does it for him. That's going to do it for him. If he throws it, if he throws it automatically, because Diaconu does have this tendency to just, if you're standing in front of him and you're giving him an opportunity, he'll lead in with the left hook. Sometimes that left hook goes to the body. A majority of the time the left hook is up top. But the shot that he should be looking for in this matchup just automatically is the straight overhand right. It's a shot that he does throw well, and he throws it well off of a jab. He doesn't throw the jab when he throws the hook, but he throws the jab when he's throwing the overhand right. And in this one, he's just gonna have to come forward with that shot, constantly in this matchup. Pressure him with that shot, with the jab overhand right. Pressure him with that shot. Walk him down with that shot, because I've seen a few southpaws lately that have been walked down with that single formula of jab overhand right, or coming forward pressuring with the overhand right, using that as the primary punch. That's going to have to be Diaconu's primary punch in this matchup, is that overhand right, but he has to utilize it off the jab and use the jab as that catalyst for it. And also, if he lands the overhand right, maybe follow it up with the left hook, and he can very well win this matchup just using that. Follow up his shots, jab, overhand right. It's not simple. It's not going to be simple against Chad Dawson, but those are the shots to look for. Chad Dawson, this matchup has to utilize movement and uses hand speed and uses foot speed as an advantage, fighting the outside, being the taller fighter, and trying to keep Diaconu at the end of his jab. Keep Diaconu out of range, make him try to throw shots out of range. Look for the right uppercut from out of range. Southpaws love throwing the uppercut. And I think, and this is my own philosophy, I think southpaws like to throw the uppercut because southpaws are at an awkward angle. I know this because I'm left-handed myself. When you're left-handed and you're going against a right-handed fighter, you're in an awkward angle and you're in an awkward position. So the right-handed fighter from time to time is going to have trouble landing his shots because, being in the orthodox position, orthodox is kind of that comfort zone, and you're outside that comfort zone from time to time when you're fighting the left-handed, when you're in front of a left-handed fighter. And with left-handed fighters, they're so used to fighting right-handed fighters and they understand the awkward angle. More than likely, they like to throw the uppercut, even though it leaves you open. It leaves you open and susceptible to certain shots. But it's a risk worth taking against a fighter that lunges in when they miss their shots. Diaconu is a fighter that lunges in when he misses his shots. Chad Dawson needs to look for the right uppercut in this matchup. Right uppercut counter. And maybe just follow it up with other shots. Not throw too many pity-pat shots, which is what he normally does. And he has to be a little more aggressive in this matchup. He needs to be a little more aggressive. He has to think a lot more. He's going to have to move the whole entire matchup, not stand in front of Diaconu. If he stands in front of Diaconu, Diaconu, he's going to give him a target. He's going to give him a primary target, and people for years have been saying Dawson has a suspect chin. I personally believe that it's a bit suspect, but he does get hurt off of counter shots. It's counter shots that really do it for him. And to avoid the counter shots, he's going to have to move after he throws his shots. Use his movement to set up offense. Use the legs as defense, and create space. Create offense off the counter if he can, and he can very well win this matchup. So in this matchup, I'm gonna go with Chad Dawson winning by a unanimous decision. even though I've had my whole string of bad luck with predictions lately, I'm going to go with Chad Dawson unanimous decision, because I just think that Chad Dawson just has the tools to beat Diaconu. The constant movement. He had trouble against Pascal's movement. He has trouble. He has to kind of get his feet set. And Chad Dawson is a mover. He's a mover. When he's in the pocket, he does move his head quite a bit, but he is open to the counter right hand. But I think he can do enough. He has the hand speed and the legs and the agility to beat Diaconu. Just look at the first Pascal fight with Diaconu, and you'll see what I'm talking about, because he had trouble against Pascal's movement. And Dawson, I think, is much better off, much better moving than Pascal. I think he's a little more sound with movement. So anyway, guys, that was Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.